Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda Ziadeh with Washington Exec, and I'm joined by Michael Cole, Chief Technology Officer for the Federal Civilian Division at GDIT. Michael's here today to discuss a question we've been asking GovCon since the administration has doubled down on its focus on government efficiency, and that is, how is your company helping government agencies be more efficient? So thank you for being with us today, Michael.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Of course. So, our first question for you is, how has the current federal priorities to cut costs, streamline operations, and improve government efficiency impacted your priorities at GDIT?
I think that's a great way to start this conversation, right? All of our customers are facing, diminishing budgets, something they've been dealing with for years. It's not new, right? They're always dealing with these constrained budgets. Money is not infinite, right? So GDIT has always been in the business of being efficient, right? Being an optimized, mission-aligned partner for our customers. We're always looking at ways that we can help them become more effective in delivering their mission, right? It's not about, hey, let's do something shiny or something new. It's about doing the best for what they need, right? And when you think about it, we're a hands-on IT mission company. We always have been. And nothing that we do is more important than that. For instance, we have bought and built HPC systems that improve weather forecasting for our nation, right? So you think about citizen safety in those areas. That's one area that we have leaned into. We're looking at how new technologies can actually be used to stop fraud, right? Saving some of our customers millions of dollars a year and how we do that. And then the other one we're looking at is, like, you think about predictive analytics against supply chain. There's a lot going on within supply chain around the world. And how do we help our customers meet their supply chain objectives, whether that's physical assets or software, right? We're making sure that we're doing that. So what's really exciting is we're seeing the new way the government is thinking as being tech forward, and we've always been tech forward. So we're excited for the change, and we're excited to lean in.
Awesome. Well, Michael, like you mentioned, the concept around government efficiency and prioritizing that isn't necessarily new, but in talks with your federal customers and clients and partners at the moment, what are their top pain points in achieving these goals, and what are agencies most focused on?
Yeah, that's another great question. Is when you think about it, their biggest pain point is in acquisition of new technology. They know they need it. They've got to have good technology to support their missions. It's kind of a non-starter these days. You got to be out there with the technology, right? And I know we'll touch on that a little bit later as we talk, but that's the first part of it, right? So how do they get that technology faster? How do they actually get to use what's new, right? We talk about AI and how that is really driving some efficiency. So how do they bring that in quickly? And it's acquisition cycles are 18 months, right? If you really think about it, and technology is changing on a much faster pace than that. So if they start an acquisition today and it takes them, even if it takes them a year, that technology could be overcome by events. It could be not as valuable to them. So making sure they do that. And when we think about the use of good tech, we're not talking about brand new tech all the time. It's actually taking advantage of their current investments and using the technology they have in place. And when you think about what we've done as part of that, kind of relates to your first question too, is, we have our digital accelerators, we have our center of excellence, we have our labs that we're creating, right? Which all are designed to accelerate the adoption of the right services using the technology they have, what's going on in the market, and even emerging technologies we're bringing in, and we're trying them out to make sure that they meet the constraints and the requirements of a federal government space.
Makes sense. So kind of diving deeper into the technology aspect, as you mentioned, the pace of technology is changing so rapidly. So how does it play a role in helping agencies become more efficient and cut and reduce costs and focus on all those priorities that they're currently focused on?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is new technology or even existing technology used properly can actually reduce headcount, right? So you're actually shifting to being more efficient as a contractor. And like I said, that's one of the things that we look at. We're in a highly competitive space, and we are always looking for ways to meet the customer where they are, whether that's budgets, whether that's needs, whether that's technologies. And I think what's really interesting is when you think about this tech forward approach, it's not a need, it's not a want, it's a requirement, right? The citizens of our nation are continually becoming more and more digital natives. When you think about AI, my kids have grown up using AI. They have grown up with that technology, and it's a requirement. They're demanding that they can interact with government services on their mobile devices. They're demanding that they can do it through chat interactions, right? They don't want to fill out a piece of paper and mail it in. Those days are kind of going away, right? So technology plays a huge part in what's going on in this administration and within our customer set.
Right. So talk to us a bit about the work that GDIT is doing. Are you able to share any use cases, metrics, collaboration stories, ways in which your company is involved?
Yeah, I think when we have that conversation, we got to start with AI, right? AI is probably the single biggest impact to efficiencies that we're seeing across the market, right? So we're looking at AI across a lot of different areas. One of the areas that we're really leaning in and partnering with a lot of the industry around is around AI-enabled service desk, right? If you think about being able to interact with agentic AI service desk agents, I can solve a lot of the problems that normally took a human to actually interact with. And it can actually guide you to the right place, the right path. And the customers that are calling into those help desks don't have to call anymore. They can, like we talked about, they can interact through their mobile devices or even through a chatbot in their laptop, right? Whether it's integrated with Teams or integrated with ServiceNow or some other type of technology, it makes it more efficient for them because they can do it themselves. They don't have to call, and it's really quick. One of the other areas that we're really leaning in is into cloud, right? We've been in the cloud space for a very long time. And when you think about cloud and how you use cloud, we've really applied the FinOps model, right? Financial operations, to make sure that we're looking at how those agencies are efficiently using cloud, right? It's not always on. It's only on when you need it. It reduces cost, right? And we've been able to see how that saves some of our customers 10 to 40% of their cloud spend costs, right? And the last one that I can share, which is actually really kind of cool, we support a very large agency that is responsible for the safe travel of citizens across the nation, right? And we do a lot of the communication for that. The communication gear that does that. Think about conference rooms, think about surge events that require, web conferencing, telecommunications type of things. And we have over 1,000 endpoints and 70,000 users that are there, right? And we are installing and maintaining over 1,000 video systems of all sizes, whether it's like we're on this call today using our laptops, or it's a full-blown conference room, or even kind of a conference center. We're providing those things and being able to react in real time when there's a situation of crisis or an event that requires additional communication. We can surge, we can actually bring that in quickly and efficiently to make sure that that agency is able to communicate and get back to a point of safety for the citizens that are in a situation of traveling. I think that's one of the coolest things. It's truly mission focused. Just like our AI work is mission focused. Around the other part is the AI software development lifecycle, right? How do we help these agencies use AI to get the code they need developed faster and deployed, so that you actually reduce the time to mission for those applications, right? And we're seeing 20, 30% reduction in time to coding for those systems as well, which is actually really cool. So really good use cases out there around a couple of those technologies. And what we're doing to pivot for that is, we talked about digital accelerators. I mean, last year you may have seen that we created centers of excellence around AI and cyber, but also on mission software. And all three of these things tie together, right? You do any of those without cyber, right? We want to make sure it's still secure. So we have been focused on these areas for years, right? And we are bringing in the experts, and we continue to bring in the experts to meet our customers where they are and where they're going, right? You think about, use a hockey analogy, right? When you're passing a puck, you don't skate to where the puck is, you skate to where it's going. And that's an important piece. And when you think about technology and use cases, we want to be ready when the customers get there. And with everything we've talked about today, they're getting there faster, which is really exciting. We're just as agile and we're ready to be there with those customers.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you for sharing. It's, you hear the term government efficiency so much now, but it's so broad. So I appreciate you getting into the specifics with us and, kind of explaining the technology aspect behind that too. There are so many applications for these tools and solutions. So
the ceiling is endless, right?
Yeah.
The potential is amazing. And I think that's what I'm excited about, is that now we're seeing that tech forward approach. We're seeing the improvement in acquisitions. We're seeing the improvement to the point where our customers can now start taking advantage of that potential. And man, I as a CTO of FedCiv, I am so excited to see our customers starting to adopt those new technologies and those new services that are coming with that, because as a taxpayer, it's going to be great for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for sharing your insights and adding some context around this very timely subject. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for the time. This was excellent.